raised in California. My whole family's left state. My parents are in Oregon, my brother's in Arizona, my best friends are in Texas. For a living, I'm a certified financial planner. Started a business in '96, opened up my company in 2001. My clients all started in California. They now live in 22 different states around the nation, right? In 2012, I said, look, enough's enough. These knuckleheads doing it in Sacramento, they're selling us down the river on both sides. We need a strong voice in Sacramento to fight for us. So I got elected, and I went there. I'd never been in politics before. And I started as a state assemblyman in 2012. From 2012 to 2018, I represented you. I was known as the most conservative voice in Sacramento. I never let the Democrats get away with anything. I built up a social media following that is now the largest in the nation, they tell me, of any state legislator, either Republican or Democrat. I have 500,000 followers on social media.
Wonderful.
Because I think, look, we got to get the message out in the state of California. It's not just social media. Last week I was on Tucker Carlson. Week before that I was on Fox right here in Oakland, California, which is just right down the road. And as well as San Francisco Chronicle and all the radio stations up and down the state. But speaking this message and getting voted down on the legislative floor clearly was not enough. I saw the gas tax come through, so I wrote the original repeal of the gas tax. I fought the Attorney General in Superior Court and beat him because he wanted to give us a crooked ballot title and summary so they could defeat the gas tax. Ultimately, the Supreme Court wouldn't hear my case. Carl DeMaio already had an effort with Prop 6, so I joined his effort. I gathered tens of thousands of signatures for them. That effort ultimately did not succeed, and guess what? They had a terrible ballot title and summary as well, right from that same Attorney General, the same one I fought and beat in Superior Court. But I realized, wait a second, even if Prop 6 was to have passed, maybe they can't pass this tax, they'll find something else to tax, right? They just passed, Gavin Newsom now wants to do a water tax on Californians. He is going to go next after split roll, which is going to decouple property taxes from commercial and residential. And he's going to start jacking up all of the property taxes on all the businesses in California, which will only cause more businesses to leave the state of California. There is no end to what the Democrats will tax. We used to be the greatest state in the nation, with the greatest roads, the best school system, very, very little crime, secure borders, all of the great things you would imagine in a safe, prosperous state. Now, highest poverty in the nation, highest homelessness in the nation, rising violent crime, rampant public drug use, and you better believe open borders in a sanctuary state. This is what California Republicans know is wrong, but it goes beyond just Republicans. This is what Californians know is wrong. I don't care whether your neighbor is a Republican, a Democrat, or a declining state and doesn't care about politics. They all want a safe neighborhood. They all want to send their kids to a good school. They all want to pay just a little bit less in taxes, and you better believe they all want to get out of this worst in the nation traffic you have right here in the Bay Area, right? These are Republican values. We have Republican solutions. We have solutions for the homelessness that we see everywhere. And it's not to just build $500,000 temporary transient dwellings they can live in. It's actually getting them off the street and getting them the help they need. The substance abuse counseling, the mental health counseling. All of these are Republican solutions. However, our California Republican Party has told us that in order to win in California, you have to look and sound more like a California Democrat. You have to be a Republican light to win in California. This kind of backward thinking has lost election after election in the state of California. For every Democrat and mainstream media that tells you the Republican Party is too conservative for Californians, you tell them that when the Republican Party was more conservative, when we had people like Bill Dannemeyer and George Dukes-Majan, we had dominance in the state of California. Now we field candidates like Meg Whitman and Neil Kashkari, who are as moderate as you can come, and yet they lose race after race. Over the last 20 years, the California Republican Party has lost races, and they have lost Republican voters. They haven't even been registering voters statewide in over a decade. We have been sold out by the Republican Party establishment. It is about time that we stand up and fight, not just for ourselves, not just for the 5 million Californians, but for every single one of the 40 million Californians that deserve a strong Republican Party, built by Republicans for Republicans, that stands for Republican values, Republican ideals, and you better believe supports our Republican president. What do you say?
Oh, yeah.
I have a very simple 3-point plan. You all know I ran for governor. And the reason I ran for governor is I realized I couldn't change the world in the California State Legislature. But there was an opportunity to beat Gavin Newsom and Jerry Brown and take that top spot. I ran as hard as I could, ladies and gentlemen. And I actually think that was a race that we would have won were it not for a backroom deal that caused our great president Donald Trump to endorse the other guy. It's all water under the bridge. I think he made a mistake. The numbers bear out that he did make a mistake. But nonetheless, I endorsed my competitor, John Cox. Every speech I made from as soon as I started talking, it took about a month and a half to make sure like we licked the wounds, after the primary. I told every single person, get out there and vote for John Cox. I took my volunteers, I did 8 statewide events up and down the state, take my 50,000 volunteers and tell them, don't stay at home. Get up off the couch, volunteer for Republicans, get Republicans elected. I even did 3 or 4 volunteer walks where I knocked on doors for candidates and brought my volunteers to actually get them directly elected. Because it's not enough for us to sit at home. We will only win if we fight together. But unfortunately, Republicans stayed at home. Unfortunately, the Democrats were ready with money, with planning, and cooking the books by changing the election laws. Ballot harvesting, election fraud perpetrated by the California DMV that they have admitted to. 25,000 people registered to vote in California illegally, including people that were registered that were not even citizens of the United States, and they've admitted to it. Number one, the California Republican Party, as your next chairman, on day one, will register voters statewide. We will reinstitute a statewide bounty program, and we will have more Republicans in California. What do you say? We will organize every street and every precinct across the state of California. This is not glamorous work. This is the hard work that the California Democrats have been doing for the last 30 years, which is why they've been beating us. There are 5 million Republicans. Every street in California will have a Republican street captain. Every precinct will have a Republican precinct captain. And you know what? We're going to send them a box of cards. And it's going to say, Jane Smith, street captain for the Republican Party. Jane Smith will be empowered to knock on her neighbor's door and say, I'm Jane Smith. I'm a Republican because I believe in these values. And if you share any of these values, you might be a Republican too. And here's a voter registration card so you can change your registration. And guess what? When we give a program like that, when we give Jane Smith a box of cards that costs us 15 cents, all of a sudden Jane Smith is now bought into the California Republican Party because she has been empowered to be a brand ambassador for the Republican Party. How do we win? We win with the people that we already have, not by ignoring the unwashed masses, not by ignoring the deplorables, but by embracing the very Californians that believe, just like me and you, that this is the greatest country in the world, and Republicans believe in the U.S. Constitution, safe communities, strong borders, and U.S. American families. This is our party. We empower everyone to register voters, and as they register voters, there's a statewide bounty. For every new voter registration, it pays your Central Committee. It pays your Republican Women's Federated. It pays your Lincoln Clubs. It expands our membership. And as we do that, we have now organized every street, every city, every town, every county across the state of California. So when that election comes, and it's coming in just 14 months, March of 2020, we have a built-in ballot harvesting army that is already on the ground. And everybody on that street already knows that Jane Smith is the Republican representative on that street, which is why she's knocking on their door come election time to collect their Republican ballot. This is how we beat the Democrats, with the strength that we already have, with the Republican people, not with the establishment philosophy of throwing the ball with a Hail Mary pass to some billionaire or special interest group, but instead to focus on the very Californians that are the backbone and strength of our Republican Party. This is how we win. And how do we pay for this? I have a very simple idea. The California 100,000. Take 100,000 normal Californians just like me and just like you and get $10 a month from them. $10 a month. 3 cups of coffee. $10 a month from 100,000 people pays us $1 million a month. $24 million over a 2-year cycle. That is a 70% increase to the budget of the California Republican Party, which currently stands at $34 million. 100% of the California 100,000 money goes to voter registration to create more Republicans, to strengthen every single Republican organization in the state of California. And it's a very simple pitch. My name's Travis Allen. I'm the chairman of the California Republican Party. Give us $10 a month and I will give you more Republicans. What could be better than that? Think about this. You, me, and the GOP. This was Together We Win. This was Ronald Reagan. This is how we win, with the power of the people that already believe in our message, to create more of us. We will be at every immigration ceremony. We will be at every community gathering, every church event, every street fair, because there will be a statewide bounty program and we will be incentivized to do it. We already know it works. That's step number one. And we pay for it through the California 100,000. By the way, this is not just idle talk. I didn't come up with California 100,000 and pull it straight out of the air. I don't come empty-handed, ladies and gentlemen. When I come to you as your chairman, I bring 20,000 individual donors with me that have given me an average donation of $36 or more. I already get us 20% of the way there just with my built-in donors. I have 50,000 volunteers across the state of California that have said, Travis, I want to volunteer to fight to take back California. You better believe those will all be our street captains and our precinct captains, and we're going to add. But we start there with a base, 20,000 donors, 50,000 volunteers, 500,000 followers on social media. My email list is one of the largest in California. Hundreds of thousands of Californians that get my emails every single week. I will add that to the California Republican Party to build a small donor program, the likes of which the Republican Party has never seen. We will have regional coordinators. They're called regional development coordinators, just like the universities have. So as these people give us the $10 a month, somebody is going to say, you know what? Crying Chuck and Nancy really ticked me off this week. Here's $100. Here's $500. Here's $1,000. Believe me, these things happen. And when they do, their regional coordinator is going to call them up. They don't got to go and hunt for these rich people. They're just going to call up and say, you know what? You gave us $500 this week. My name's Travis Allen. I just want to say thank you very much. And why don't you come on down to our central committee meeting, and we'd love to see you some more. And you start telling about events, and you develop that relationship. There was a donor in my governor's race that gave me $1,000. Great guy, nice guy. I didn't know it. It turns out he owns the marina in Stockton and about 20% of the land there. Do you think he might have the ability to give us more than $1,000? But we'll never know unless we institute a development program across the state. This is not knowing rich people. It's taking people that are willing just to give us money and deepen their relationship and to bring them in and make them a part of the success of the California Republican Party. We organize our state. We fund our operations on day one. We register more voters so we can win more races and ballot harvest so we will fight and win in 2020 with a rock solid plan that is based on fundamentals and hard work for which there is no substitute. But number two, if we've done all of that and the Democrats steal our elections, it's going to be for nothing. We must prosecute in federal court the election fraud of the California Democrats.
Yes.
We will not do this in state court. We'll never get a hearing. We'll prosecute it in federal court. We will take these cases all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where we got a couple brand new justices. And I will tell you right now, we will end voter fraud in California, and everybody will know that it's the Republican Party that did it, and you can clap for that. So wait, let me tell you something. Ballot integrity. It's not a Republican issue. It's not a Democrat issue. It's not a declined state issue. It's an issue that affects every single person. But you know what? The Democrats have been cooking the books for well over 100 years in this country. Tammany Hall in New York City, a Democrat political machine. Mayor Daley in Chicago, a Democrat political machine. Jerry Brown in San Francisco, right? And whoever, London Breed, whoever the current mayor is, with Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom and the rest of them, Democrat political machine. They have been fixing elections on us in California, and no one has been holding them to task. The Republican Party will say no more. There is no reason that for the last 50 years there's not been a Republican mayor in San Francisco. There's no way that that can happen unless they were cooking the books. We will find and uncover voter fraud. We will take all of these cases that we've already heard of, where there is election fraud at the county registrar's office, where there's illegal ballot harvesting operations going on, when there are people paying other people for votes and actually stuffing ballot boxes or getting rid of other valid ballots. We will prosecute people that are trying to vote under names that are not their own. Now, I know we don't have voter ID in California, but you better believe the Republican Party stands for that, because everybody in California can get an ID. Everybody knows how, and we'll give you one for free. But we will make sure that if people try to take our elections by fraud and by theft, that they will be prosecuted in federal court all the way to the Supreme Court. By the way, this is a huge winning issue, not only because we'll get rid of the fraud, but because this will make Republicans a household name again. The Republican Party is the party that wants your vote to count, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Look, I just want you to have a fair shot to make your voice, make sure your voice is heard, and they're not diluting your elections. And I'll tell you right now, this is a fight that we will win. Number three, we have built a statewide army. We have attacked and defeated the ballot harvest, not the ballot, but the illegal electioneering practices of the California Democrats. But you know what? Those solutions are going to take a long, long time to bear real fruit. 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. But I'll tell you, Gavin Newsom is our governor right now. He's got 4 years to destroy our state. And you better believe with health care for all, open borders, sanctuary state, water taxes, property taxes, and the rest, he's going to do everything he can to pursue that far left radical progressive agenda that will only take things and make them even worse in the state of California. The California Republican Party must be ready with its volunteer army up and down the state, its statewide precinct operation starting at the street level, its statewide small donor program to fund this, its aggressive legal efforts in federal court. And we must be ready when the time comes. Gavin Newsom's going to make a mistake. And that mistake will be so serious, the California people are going to say, you know what? We need an answer, and we got an answer. The answer was in 2003 when you threw out Governor Jerry Brown. In 2018 when we threw out Josh Newman. We will use the power of the recall, and if these Democrats get out of line, Javier Becerra, Alex Padilla, Gavin Newsom, you better believe the Republican Party will recall them from office. It's your party, and it's about time we start fighting. And you can clap for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you very clearly, there's 3 people in this race. Okay? There was 4. David Hadley, he dropped out. There's 3 people. There's myself, and I think you know a little bit about me. I come with a statewide volunteer army. I come with a donor base of 20,000. I'm the only person in the race that's ever actually run and won weight races myself. I'm the only person that has all of the media appearances, that brings all the social media with me, all the cutting edge technology. 50,000 volunteers already following, already signed up and ready to fight for Republicans. There are 2 other people in the race. One is Steve Frank. He's a great guy. Steve Frank is a rock solid conservative. Steve Frank writes a lot, and I like what he writes. One of his ideas of creating 14 new committees is his first step. I don't think the answer is creating more committees. I think we need more action than that. But he's a good guy. I just don't know that Frank has the ability necessary to bring new voters to the Republican Party, to truly get everyone up off the couch, to revitalize this party, bring in new fire, new energy, and make the California Republican Party the dominant force in California once again. There's one other person in the race. Her name is Jessica Patterson. Jessica Patterson is also a nice person. Jessica Patterson ran something called the Trailblazers since 2011. It was modeled after the Young Guns program, which was a congressional program to get more Republicans elected. This was designed to get more statewide Republicans elected. It was formed by staffers from Meg Whitman's campaign and from the old Pete Wilson administration, starting in 2011. Since 2011, they started out with 28 assembly seats and 14 Senate seats. Today, we have 20 assembly seats and 11 Senate seats. Since the Trailblazers organization was founded, of which she is the CEO, they have lost 11 statewide seats. This is not a track record of success. This is the establishment trying to push the status quo back on us and say just because it's failed time after time after time for the last 20 years, we're still going to keep at it because somehow it's going to be different. I'm telling you right now, the status quo will no longer do for California Republicans. If you want your party to die, then do nothing. If you want your party to live, if you want a viable option, if you want the California Republican Party to be strong, to stand for you, to stand for Republican values, to excite people, to bring people to the meeting. Who here at the first meeting? How many people here? Who here heard about this, right? And came because of what you heard? There you go, right there. I see the hands. These are the new faces. How old are you?
21.
Amen to that. How old are you?
21.
What's your name?
Josue.
Josue. That's a great biblical name. I love it. What's your name?
Adam.
Adam, last name. Okay, is this the diverse face of the Republican Party?
Yeah.
Is this your first Republican meeting?
Yep.
God bless you. This is what I bring to the California Republican Party. That fire, that energy, that diversity. If you've ever been to any of my sellout rallies, you look across the crowd, you're going to see men, women, every ethnicity you can ever imagine, young, old. They're all there. Because you know what? When you start telling people the truth about Republican values, they're common sense California values. Good schools, less traffic on your roads, lower taxes, strong on crime laws, getting rid of homelessness in California, protecting our borders, protecting our families. These are Republican values. These are values on which we win. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Travis Allen. I am here to fight for you. I'm here to win for you. I've run for other offices. I'll tell you there's no race. There's no race. There's no future for anybody at the state level unless we fix the California Republican Party right now.
That's right.
It must be rebuilt. We've got to do it from the ground up. It's not one person. It's going to be all of you. Every single one of you will be the new ambassador for the Republican Party. Every single one of these candidates that ran and lost, we're going to put them in front of the media and allow them their chance, their voice. Because it's not one person that's a spokesman. It's going to be all of us. It's going to be Aja Smith, a young African-American veteran that ran in Los Angeles. It's going to be Antonio Sabato Jr., a young Latino actor that ran for office. Omar Navarro, exact same story. It's going to be Peter Kuo, right? The face of the Republican Party. It's going to be Corinne Rankin, a young African American out of Stockton, California, as the new face, who's running also for vice chair, as a new face of the Republican Party. Because you see, when I left the California Assembly, my first endorsement was to Tyler Diep, who took my assembly seat, the highest ranking Vietnamese American in the state of California. Republicans do not see color. We only see merit and values. The Democrats are the party of identity politics. They're the ones that seek to divide, but we are the ones that know that e pluribus unum, out of many one. This is us. We are California Republicans, and we look like all of you. We are in every single community because we believe in community engagement. When we got a Republican street captain on every single street, that's every single street in the middle of San Francisco, every single street in the middle of Los Angeles. Every street, there will be a Republican, which means the face of the Republican Party is going to look like every street across the state of California. That's my vision. My name is Travis Allen.
That's right.
I want your endorsement. I want your delegates. And let's go fight and win. And let's take back our party.